Hello and welcome to another episode of Now About That with James and Sarah. I'm James.
And I'm Sarah.
And on this week's episode, we're going to have a quick conversation. We'll talk about what pride flags mean, the different pride flags, and then kind of what the colors of the actual regular pride flag stand for. And then Sarah, you said you wanted to talk about a movie that you just watched.
Yes.
So we can talk about that as well. But before we jump into that, I wanted to talk about this song that I think it was last week or this last week that Brittany Broski released called Stained. And I like it. I just have a small issue and edit that I wish she would have done. So
Okay.
I'm going to share my screen and we're going to listen to the song first. Not the whole song, obviously, but the part of it. And then when it gets to the part that I wanted to change, I'm going to pause it and then we're going to talk about it.
Okay.
All right. Let's see. Desktop, share with sound, share. That's not what I wanted. All right. So it's called Stained, and it's the most recent release song that she released. And it's a really good song. I really like it. But there's part of it that I really wanted her to change, and I'll pause it and talk about it when it gets there.
Okay.
So here is Stained by Brittany Broski.
His heart was heavy and his mind was crowded. Didn't leave much room for me, but he kissed me sweetly. Love was sugar coated. Now it's rotten on my teeth. Shoes on the carpet, hands on my body, smoke in the darkness. Still smell it on me. So take me to the river, drown me in the deep. By your love, I can't get myself clean. Dirty as a sinner, apple from the tree. By your love, I can't get myself clean. Stained by your love. My soul was spot.
Okay, so that part, the Stained by Your Love, there before she moved on to the next verse, I feel like it's incomplete.
I can understand that.
Because it goes, Stained by Your Love, and then dies. And I'm like, that's not where I want that to end. I want it to go, Stained by Your Love. Something like that, where there's more to it. It just seems
Right.
and she does it multiple times in the song. There just seems like it just needs to finish.
Yeah.
Every time I hear it, I'm like, I really enjoy the song. It's just that part drives me nuts because it needs to go. It seems like it's cut off, and I'm like, it's missing.
Right. First of all, I can definitely see that with that song. But that is also a feeling that I get sometimes with certain songs and I call them orgasm denial songs.
Yeah.
Because I can't have that ear orgasm, that perfectness for the song. It never completes because they didn't do it the way that I think they should have.
Yeah. And I mean, like I said, I really enjoy the song. I just, every time and it's, like I said, it happens multiple times throughout the song, that she does that portion of it. And I'm just like, it's like you're edging me and then you just never let it happen.
Yeah.
But it's a great song. I love it.
Oh yeah, no, it sounds like a really good song. I'll have to check out the rest of it later.
The 3 songs that she's released, one of them was a cover, and then these 2 are her. Are actually, they're not covers. They're oh my god, originals. So they're her original songs.
Yeah.
Which is totally fine. And I've really enjoyed all of them. I've added them to my favorites list, so I listen to them whenever I listen to my, in the car, I listen to YouTube music and I play it whenever I'm driving.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, that was it. That was all I had. Do you want to talk about the movie first, and then we'll talk about the flags afterwards?
I can. Okay, so Nick and I had date night the other night, and we both been like really tired, kind of low energy, me especially, and so we decided to just stay in and watch a movie on Thursday night. So Nick was like, it's Pride Month, we should watch something gay. And I was just like, it's Pride Month and we should watch something gay. So we watched something gay. The movie that we chose, that Nick chose because I had not seen it, due to my upbringing, I am woefully behind on anything gay culture. Like literally so far behind. I almost feel like a baby gay sometimes because of that. But anyway, we watched Imagine Me and You with Piper Perabo and Lena Headey. I don't know what year. Let me actually look that up. But it was so cute. 2005. Okay, so 2005.
Oh yeah.
It also has Anthony Head from Buffy the Vampire Slayer in it. He plays Piper Parabo's father. But essentially the plot of the movie is there's this florist. Her name is Luce. And there is this young woman getting married. And her name is Rachel. And she's played by Piper Perabo. And Luce is played by Lena Headey. And they just ever so briefly lock eyes with each other as Rachel is walking down the aisle to get married to her husband. And they end up falling in love, and it's a catastrophe, but it's also like super good. And also Heck deserved better. Heck is Rachel's husband. And he's just genuinely a sweetie pie the entire movie. He's very understanding. He's very he's trying to support Rachel as best he can. And Rachel, instead of admitting to herself that she wants to be with a woman, that she has realized, oh, this is not what I want from my life. She should just tell him, but she does not. So, yeah. But it was a really good movie. I really enjoyed myself, got a little teary. And it was nice to see some lesbian representation.
Yeah. I've seen that movie, and I didn't realize, whenever I saw the cover art, I realized I'd seen that movie. And it's actually, it is a pretty good movie.
Yeah, it was really good. I enjoyed it. Normally, I'm not a huge fan of overly lovey-dovey kind of movies.
Yeah.
I think because there's such a fine line between genuinely sincere feeling and then coming across super fakey and cheesy. And it's really hard to, I think, get the good aspect of it versus the cheesy. So I think that's one of the reasons why I generally don't appreciate them. But I would give it a 4 out of 5. I really enjoyed it. And I think the acting was pretty good. Piper Perabo at one point had me convinced that she actually was British in real life. She is not.
No, yeah,
she's from Texas.
I actually really like Piper Perabo. She, she was in the first movie I saw her in was Coyote Ugly, but she also did the Rocky and Bullwinkle movie.
I didn't know she did the Rocky and Bullwinkle movie.
Yeah, she was. I think she was playing a CIA agent or something, but she was a secret or an law enforcement agent of some capacity. And I don't remember what other movie she's been in. I think she was in Because I Said So. She was one of the the daughters in Because I Said So.
I think she plays the oldest daughter in Cheaper by the Dozen.
Oh, maybe. I don't remember.
Let
The
me
only
look
person I
at
remember from Cheaper by the Dozen is Hilary Duff.
That's fair. There were a lot of people in Cheaper by the Dozen. Yes,
I mean, at least
she
a
was in
dozen.
Cheaper by the Dozen.
Okay. Okay. But I don't remember what else I know her from other than Covert Affairs. She played a CIA agent in Covert Affairs too.
I didn't realize that she was also in The Prestige. That
She
has
might have like a small role in The Prestige, but yeah, I think I remember her from that too. She's a fun actress. I do think she kind of does like fall into, she plays similar or the same roles in a lot of the movies that she plays. Yeah. But I do like her as an actress. She's fun. And I love her name, Piper Perabo. It's a fun name.
And that's her real name.
Yeah.
Which I also really admire. I always like it when somebody's able to get into Hollywood and use their real name instead of having to change it.
Yeah. So I figured out what was wrong with my microphone volume, because last week I had the same issue where I had to split the track and then turn my volume way up and turn yours down a little bit.
Oh
no. For some reason, Zoom every now and then changes my volume and it turns the microphone volume all the way, like way down. It's happened before too, and I just went in and fixed it before we jumped on the call. So it's fine now. It should be fine now. Hopefully, we'll see.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. Otherwise, I'm just gonna have to turn it on and like go to the volume and turn it up to the max, because I can't. Like, it's stupid that I have to split the track and then and turn my volume all the way up. All right. Well, would you like to jump into? Did you want to talk any more about the movie, or do you want to jump into the flags?
I think I said everything I wanted to say about the movie.
Okay. Well, I'm going to send you a link, and it's weird because it's from Volvo, but it's a link about the 15 of the pride flags and what they mean.
Okay.
So in this link, there's the Gilbert pride flag, which is like the original one, Philadelphia pride flag, the 6-color pride flag, transgender flag, New Progress pride flag, non-binary flag, intersex, asexual, bisexual, pansexual, lesbian, abrosexual, which I've never heard of, gay men's, heterosexual, doesn't seem necessary, drag feather, maverick-y, I don't really know what that is, bigender, gray sexual, gender flux, genderqueer, demi boy, and straight ally flag. So we'll talk about them, and we'll talk a little bit about what they mean. Sarah's face. And the first one is the original, the Gilbert Baker pride flag. And the difference between the one and like the pride flag, that the rainbow flag that everyone knows is today, is there was a pink and a turquoise. I think I said light blue in one of them, but it's turquoise that was taken out. And most of the time, the reason it was taken out was because the colors were already represented by another color somewhere, but also so that it was easier to mass produce the pride flag. They took out those because those were hard colors to manufacture in mass. Hold on. So these all have like a little snippet, so we'll talk about it. And then for the first one, I really want to talk about like the different colors and what they mean, because each color to the pride flag has a symbolism. I don't know if everybody knows this, but they do. And last year we actually had a quiz, and everybody had to guess what the colors meant. And most people for work, and whoever guessed the most correct got a $25 gift card.
Love that.
So the quick snippet for this, it says Gilbert Pride Flag, the flag that started it all. It was created in 1977 by Gilbert Baker, an artist, activist, and openly gay military veteran. Tasked by Harvey Milk, a historic figure in the fight for LGBTQ rights, to create a flag for the queer community, Baker created the rainbow flag with 8 different colors, inspired by the classic song Over the Rainbow from the 1939 film The Wizard of Oz. Baker created a rainbow flag to represent LGBTQ folks. Each color in the flag has a specific meaning. So hot pink symbolizes sex, red symbolizes life, orange symbolizes healing, yellow stands for sunlight, green represents nature, turquoise represents magic and art, indigo stands for serenity, and then violet represents the spirit of the LGBTQ community.
Wow. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
The next flag was the six-color pride flag. The six-color pride flag is one of the most well-known and used throughout history. This flag includes the colors red, orange, yellow, green, indigo, and violet on it. Hot pink wasn't included in the fabrication of these flags because the fabric was hard to find. As the demand for the flag started to rise after the assassination of gay San Francisco City Supervisor Harvey Milk on November 27, 1978. In 1979, the flag was modified again, aiming to decorate the street lamps along the parade route with hundreds of rainbow banners. Gilbert Baker decided to split the motif in two with an even number of stripes flanking each lamp pole. To achieve this effect, he dropped the turquoise stripe that had been used in the seven-stripe flag. The result was the six-stripe version of the flag that would become the standard for future production.
So yeah, that's the one that I think most people are most familiar with, except for now there's like the progressive flag, which we'll talk about later. And then the next one, which is the Philadelphia Pride flag. It came out in response to the demand for more inclusivity across the LGBTQ plus community, and the flag launched in 2017 as part of the More Color, More Pride campaign in Philadelphia, and was designed by a small Philly-based PR agency. The addition of black and brown to the traditional pride flag symbolizes people of color who historically are not always included in aspects of mainstream gay rights movements. Lena Waithe, I'm going to say, an American actress, wore the Philadelphia Pride flag as a cape at the 2018 Met Gala. She is a powerful advocate for black people within the entertainment industry, and this flag spiked in popularity after she elevated its visibility.
Love her, by the way.
I don't know that I know her. I think I remember seeing the Philadelphia Pride flag on the Met Gala red carpet, or I don't know if she was actually on the red carpet, but she was at the Met Gala. But I do remember that, but I don't know that I would know her just like without seeing a picture of her. If I saw a picture, I'm sure I'd know her.
I know her, but that's because I have a huge crush on her. So there's that. The transgender flag was first created in 1999 by Monica Helms, a transgender woman. Light blue and pink are featured because they're the traditional colors associated with baby boys and girls, respectively. The white stands for those who are intersex, transitioning, or those who don't feel identified with any gender. Transgender people have a gender identity or gender expression that differs from the sex that they were assigned at birth. According to Amnesty International, 1.5 million transgender people live in the European Union, making up 0.3% of the population, and more than 1.4 million trans adults living in the U.S., which is about 0.5% of the population. Violence against the queer community affects trans people of color the most. Therefore, the transgender flag is so important. The trans community needs representation and resources to be visible without fear.
Yeah, and that one is very memorable right now too, and we see it a lot on like Drag Race. A lot of the drag race queens like to wear it to kind of show representation on the show, and then because like they're honoring fallen transgender community members while they're wearing it on the show as well. The next one, and it's weird that they skipped the Progress Pride flag and went directly to the new Progress Pride flag, and that's not even know what I know this one as.
Right, I don't know that one as the new Progress Pride flag either.
I know it as the Intersex Pride flag, I think is what it's called. Let me double check. I have it pulled up on another screen. Polyamory Pride flag. No, sorry, Intersex Inclusive Pride. That's what I know it as.
Okay.
But this is it has the traditional rainbow on the side, and then the arrows pointing to the right, going from the left to the right with the black, brown, light blue, pink, white, and then the triangle of yellow with the purple circle. So this is the new Progress Pride flag, according to the Volvo website. Given the evolving nature of the LGBTQ plus community and society at large, the Progress Pride flag integrates many of these flags into one. Thankfully, it has been redesigned to place a greater emphasis on inclusion and progress. Our community is such a huge umbrella of different kind of people, and that is what makes us so special. That's what makes us so unique, And that's what makes this so powerful. The modern pride flag now includes stripes to represent experiences of people of color, as well as stripes to represent people who identify as transgender, gender nonconforming, and or unidentified. Daniel Kesar's flag includes the color of the trans flag, as well as black and brown stripes harkening back to 2017 Philadelphia Pride flag, which sought to further represent the queer and trans identities and black and brown people. Those two stripes also represent those living with HIV and AIDS, people who have passed from the virus, and other stigmas surrounding HIV and AIDS that remain today. In 2021, the Progress Pride flag was revised by Valentino Vincinetti. Vincinetti. I really don't know how to say that. I'm adding an N.
You're adding an N, but...
Vichetti? I'm going to go with Vichetti. I think that's probably what it is, actually. And it's probably still wrong.
It is.
Of Intersex Equal Rights UK to incorporate the intersex flag. In the new design, the chevron of the Progress Pride flag includes a yellow triangle and a purple circle in the middle. So this is the one that we were flying at Boston Scientific and Quincy. And I think most of the Boston Scientifics globally are flying this one.
Love that. The non-binary flag, which for those who don't know is a yellow stripe, a white stripe, a purple stripe, and a black stripe. In 2014, Kyle Rowan created the non-binary pride flag to represent people whose gender identity does not fit within the traditional male-female binary. The colors of the non-binary flag are yellow, white, purple, and black. The colors each symbolize a different subgroup of people who identify as non-binary. Yellow signifies something on its own, or people who identify outside of the cisgender binary of male or female. A cisgender person who would be a person whose gender identity matches their sex assigned at birth. White, a color that consists of all colors mixed, stands for multi-gendered people. Purple, like the lavender color in the genderqueer flag, represents people who identify as a blending of male and female genders. Finally, black, the absence of color, signifies those who are agender, who feel they don't have a gender. Some non-binary genderqueer people use gender-neutral pronouns. Usage of singular they, their, and them is the most common.
And that one I've seen before. I've seen most of these before, but I didn't know which ones kind of go with which group. But the next one we've kind of already talked about, but it's the yellow with the purple circle, and it's the intersex flag. And this flag went through a variety of iterations before the current intersex flag emerged. Previous versions embraced the rainbow that is often associated with queer pride, while others use colors like blue and pink, which are found on the transgender flag. In 2013, Morgan Carpenter chose the color yellow and purple for the intersex flags. Morgan moved away from the rainbow symbolism and selected these colors because neither is associated with the social constructs of gender binary. The circle, perfect and unbroken, represents the wholeness of intersex people. It's a reminder that intersex people are perfect the way that they are and choose to be. That's interesting.
Huh.
I did wonder why the circle was there.
I mean, it makes sense.
And what's funny is whenever we had this and we asked what the purple and the yellow symbolized on the flag, a lot of people for some reason said Ukraine. And I was like, well, that's yellow and blue. That has nothing to do with the LGBTQIA plus community.
Okay. Oh my goodness. Asexual flag. The flag for the asexual community was created in 2010 by the Asexual Visibility and Education Network. Asexual is the lack of sexual attraction to others or a low interest in sexual activity, but asexuality can mean different things to different people. It is best to ask each individual what it means to them. For some people, it may mean that they rely on other types of attraction instead of or in place of sexual attraction. Asexual can be an umbrella term, and each color in this flag also represents something unique. Black stands for asexuality. Gray represents demisexuality for those who develop sexual attraction to someone only after forming a deep emotional bond with them. White stands for the allies of the community. Purple represents the entire community of asexual folks. I have a controversial opinion.
What?
I don't feel like allies deserve to have their own flags. I don't feel like we should have to incorporate them into our flags.
I don't think they should be incorporated into flags like this. They do have their own flag, and I think that's the one that should matter. I don't think it. Well, I don't think it should matter as much as all the other flags.
I don't think they need a flag of their own. They haven't had to fight for their rights. They are still not having to fight for their rights.
I don't think that's what it is, though. I think what it's trying to do is to show that the community appreciates and identifies when they are helping like guide the community.
It feels like we are giving them a participation trophy so that they can feel like they're part of the community when they're actually just taking up space.
I mean, as long as they're taking up space for the good. That's my big thing.
But most of the time they're not. That's the problem.
I do kind of agree with what you're saying a little bit, when most of the time it does feel kind of like the same thing as like the white savior complex.
Right.
Type of thing, where it's like you're doing it because you want to feel like you did something, not for the right reason. But there are some allies that are doing things for the right reason. And they're not pushing to be at the forefront of it, which is kind of, I think, what you're saying. Don't ask to be included in the forefront of it when it should be the members of the community that are taking up the space.
Exactly.
That's what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying, is like they should not be placing themselves like at the forefront like that. They don't need a flag. Yeah. They have everything else.
And I think my thing is, I don't think they're the ones that push for that. I think these people that created these flags felt like they wanted to include them. So it's like, that's the reasoning behind it, my assumption.
I would disagree. I don't think that would be an accurate assumption. I think that they were put in there to placate so that maybe we might get to keep our rights. We might get to keep our little flag because we included our allies in it.
I think it might be a little bit of both, maybe. But the next flag we're going to talk about is the bisexual flag. We're going to skip over one of them because we don't need to talk about the heterosexual flag, but that's later on. But this one is the bisexual flag. The bisexual flag was created in 1998 by Michael Page. His idea for the flag represents pink and purple blending to make purple, the way the bisexual people can blend into the straight community and the gay community. The colors of the flag also represent attraction to different genders. The purple symbolizes attraction to the same gender, while the blue represents attraction to a different gender. The purple represents attraction to two or more genders, the definition of bisexuality. I kind of like that symbolism with the mixture between the pink and the blue to make the purple.
Agreed.
And I think there's a lot of bi erasure where people are like, well, you're either straight or you're gay. You can't be both. I think that's an incorrect assumption, because you can be attracted to both genders, and just because you happen to be in either a same-sex relationship or an opposite sex relationship doesn't mean that you are being forced to fall into one or the other. What was that?
My bottle, I guess, got warm, and so it popped.
That's funny. I'm gonna have you no, never mind. I was gonna say, I'm gonna have you read the next one, and then I'm gonna have you do the next two, and there's a reason behind it.
Okay.
So I'm gonna do pansexual, and then you're gonna do the lesbian flag, and then the abrosexual. So pansexual flag was created in 2010. Pansexuality represents those people who feel attracted to a person without thinking about gender. Pansexual people may refer to themselves as gender blind, asserting that gender and sex are not a determining factor in their romantic or sexual attraction to others. This means that they can feel attraction to those who identify as women, men, both, or neither. The pink on the flag represents attraction to women, blue represents attraction to men, and yellow stands for attraction to those who don't identify with either gender. Pansexuality may be considered a sexual orientation or a branch of bisexuality to indicate an attractive sexual identity. Because pansexual people are open to relationships with people who do not identify strictly men or women, and pansexuality therefore rejects the gender binary, it is also often considered as more inclusive term than bisexuality. So I did not know that. I wondered what the difference between bisexual and pansexual was. No, I didn't. I knew that it was that there wasn't like they didn't care. It's the person, and it's not about the gender, and it wasn't just the two sexes included. Okay.
Yeah. Bisexuality has always been two or more genders. But I think the thing to remember is that with pansexuality, they're not even looking at gender at all.
Yeah.
They're just attracted to a person.
Yeah, which makes sense.
Which is a little bit different because, like, bisexuality, there's usually some type of attraction that goes in different directions,
Yeah.
But anyway, the lesbian flag. The lesbian flag is one of the flags fewer people know about. This flag features different shades of pink and sometimes comes with a red kiss on it to represent lipstick lesbians. Excuse me. This flag was created by Natalie McRae in 2010. Some lesbians oppose this flag because of its exclusion of butch lesbians, but no other flag has as much popularity as this one. In the new flag, the colors represent the following: darkest orange, gender nonconformity; middle orange, independence; lightest orange, community; white, unique relationships to womanhood; lightest pink, serenity and peace; middle pink, love and sex; darkest pink, femininity. And then the next one is abrosexual, which it doesn't give as good an explanation of like the color breakdown, but the abrosexual is kind of a darker green, white, lighter pink, darker pink. The abrosexual pride flag has existed since 2015. The flag was created by Maud Chad of Pride Flags for Us after another anonymous person requested it. It is unknown why this person chose those colors specifically. Oh, that's why. Okay. Abrosexual refers to an individual whose sexuality is changing or fluid. For example, someone could be gay one day, then be asexual the next, then polysexual the next. While it is possible and even common for a person's sexual identity to shift or change in some way throughout their life, an abrosexual person's sexuality may change more frequently over the course of hours, days, months, or years. Because of their inconsistent attraction, some abrosexual people may not feel compelled to seek out a relationship or may prefer a waivership. I don't know what that is. The timing of the fluctuations is different for every person. For some, the fluctuations may be erratic, and for others, they may be regular. The sexualities that a person fluctuates between also varies. Some abrosexual people may be fluid between all sexualities, while others may only be fluid between a few.
Interesting. I've never even heard of that. So that's new information to me. And then the next one is the gay men's pride flag, and it's a very similar idea and concept to the lesbian flag because it has varying colors of the same, or varying shades of the same colors. So there's like a dark green, a mid green, and a light green, and then a white, a light blue, a darker blue, or a mid blue, and then a dark blue. And the gay men's pride flag is another lesser known pride flag. It features different shades of green, blue, and purple. I guess purple is like the last one kind of could be seen as purple or blue. The modern gay men's pride flag is a revamp of an earlier gay men's pride flag that featured a range of blue tones. That version of the flag is evolved as it. Wow, I'm going to start that sentence over. That version of the flag evolved as it used colors that were perceived stereotypical of the gender binary. The updated flag is meant to be inclusive of a much wide range.
It's supposed to say wider.
I was going to say, it seems, there's an R missing. A much wider range of gay men, including but not limited to transgender, intersex, and gender nonconforming men. And then the one that we're skipping is the heterosexual pride flag, which is next, which again, I think I agree with you on this one. This one's unnecessary. And I don't understand. It's just black and white.
I also think we should skip the very last one. Because again, they don't need it.
Okay.
Anywho, this one is called Drag Feather Pride Flag. And the drag feather pride flag is an earlier, somewhat obscure version of the drag pride flag. It was created in 1999 by Sean Campbell and was then called the feather pride flag. It has a phoenix in its center, which symbolizes the drag community's rebirth and the fire of passion they use to raise awareness and funds for different causes. The phrase to drag refers to a performance of masculinity, femininity, or other forms of gender expression. It is to dress up or exhibit yourself in a way that differs from your everyday expressions. For example, a drag queen is someone, usually male, who performs femininity, while a drag king is someone, usually female, who performs masculinity.
That's a good way to break it down. Mm-hmm. I don't really understand what this one is. Is it called the Maverick or the Maverick? Maverick. Pride flag was first created on Tumblr by Vesper H. Queer AS Cat. Queer as cat. Okay. In 2014, and coined the term Maverick to describe their gender. The term combines the English word maverick with the French term eek, or IQ. EQ?
Eek.
Eek, it is eek? Okay. Maverick is a non-binary or a-binary gender with significant gendered experiences, but is neither male nor female. However, it is not a lack of gender. It is identified as autonomy and inner conviction about a gender that is unusual and exists outside the standard conceptions of gender. Maverick individuals are free to use whatever pronouns they prefer and present themselves however they want. The color of the Maverick Pride flag are yellow, white, and orange. The yellow represents non-binary gender, as yellow is a primary color, meaning it isn't obtainable from combining any other colors and is entirely independent of other primary colors, cyan blue and magenta pink. Vesper non-binary genders are also frequently related to the color yellow. White represents autonomy or independence from the gender binary and the spectrum of genders created by the combinations of cyan blue, masculinity, and magenta pink, femininity. White is the blank slate upon which Maverick is based. Orange represents the inner conviction of what a Maverick feels regarding their gender. It also describes the unorthodox and individualistic nature of Mavericks.
You skipped a sentence.
Did I?
Yes. So you said Vesper and then went right into non-binary. So the sentence you missed says Vesper H believed it was the perfect analogy for Maverick's relationship with masculinity and femininity.
Oh, I see that now. I wondered because it was like, wait, what is missing?
Yeah. I was like, hold up, wait a second.
My brain does that sometimes. It just skips an entire line.
You know, that happens to the best of us sometimes. Okay, the next one is the bi-gender pride flag. The Tumblr user No Bucks for This Does created the original version of the bi-gender pride flag. The creation date of the flag is unknown, but is assumed to have existed before July 30th, 2014. It features different shades of pink, blue, and purple. The meaning of the colors is unknown, but it is often speculated that blue represents masculinity, pink represents femininity, and purple represents a mix of genders or androgyny. The white at its center symbolizes the non-binary nature of bi-gender. There is, however, another commonly used variation of the bi-gender pride flag, which features 4 horizontal lines in 4 different colors: pink, yellow, white, purple, and blue. The creator is unknown, and so is the color's meaning, but it is assumed that the colors have the same meaning as the original flag, and that yellow is added to represent non-binary. It was directed either before, or it was created. Why did I say directed? It was created either before or on August 23rd, 2015. A bigender individual is a person having or experiencing 2 different genders of any combination. For example, a bigender person could be both a woman and a man, or be a gender and a woman simultaneously. The genders may be binary or non-binary, can be experienced simultaneously or alternately, and may not be experienced equally or in the same way.
Interesting. And then the next one is the gray sexual pride flag, which, again, another one that I've never heard of. But Milith Ruscanilio, I'm adding letters and name into these names. I'm terrible at just guessing names. Anyways, created the first version of the gray sexual pride flag in 2013. It features 2 lines of purple on the top and bottom of the flag, 2 gray lines just a little bit further in, with a white center line. The colors are supposed to represent someone starting with no sexual attraction, the purple asexuality, then going through an episode of attraction, gray to white, with white indicating allosexuality from the asexual flag, and then returning to asexuality once again. Gray sexual is used to describe a person who identifies themselves asexual but does not fall into one of the primary kinds of asexuality.
The next one is the gender flux pride flag. There are multiple variations of the gender flux pride flag. However, the original version is most commonly used. It is unknown who created it, and it is speculated to have been created sometime between 2014 and 2015. It has 6 horizontal strips and 6 colors, where dark pink represents women, light pink represents demi-girls, gray represents agender, light blue represents demi-boy, dark blue represents men, and yellow represents non-binary genders. Gender flux is a catch-all phrase for gender identities where an individual's gender or sense of the intensity of their gender changes over time.
Do you want to do...
It's me.
I was going to say, do you want to do gender queer, and then I'll do the last one before we move on?
Yeah. So, genderqueer pride flag. The genderqueer pride flag was created by the advocate and genderqueer writer Marilyn Roxy in 2011. The flag has 3 horizontal stripes: lavender, white, and dark chartreuse green. The lavender, a mix of pink and blue, which traditionally represents women and men, expresses queer identities and androgyny. White represents gender-neutral and agender identities. Chartreuse represents identities that aren't in the gender binary and the third gender. A genderqueer does not subscribe to conventional gender distinctions, but identifies with neither, both, or a combination of male and female. Genderqueer is similar to non-binary, but has a slightly different meaning. It is sometimes used as an umbrella term to cover any identity that isn't cisgender. Nope.
Interesting.
It me.
And then the last one is the demi-boy pride flag. And I just sent you a picture that I pulled from another website because it has demi-boy and demi-girl. But this website for some reason only has demi-boy. But the demi-boy pride flag was created in 2015 by the Tumblr user Transrance. While Transrance did not explicitly explain the colors, the demi-boy community who identify with the flag have assigned meaning to them. The flag features 4 colors. Blue represents manhood or masculinity, white represents non-binary or agender, and the shades of gray represents the gray areas or partial connections to other genders than the binary concepts of gender, male or female. A demi-boy, also referred to as demi-dude, demi-guy, demi-man, demi-male, or demi-dude, is a person who identifies with the concept of masculinity. That seems crazy. But the what I sent you and what I'll include in, I'll have to find where I got it from. But it's a guide to the pride flags, and it has a lot of them listed. So I think there's 35 is what I counted. Yeah, 35.
There's a lot.
And it has the ones that we've listed, but it also includes the progressive pride flag, which is trans-inclusive variation. There's a polyamory pride, which is consensual relationships with multiple partners, which is Sarah as well.
Yep.
A romantic pride, which is no feeling of romantic attraction to others, which we kind of talked about with asexual. I'm not really sure what the difference between asexual and aromantic is.
So an aromantic person feels sexual attraction, but not romantic attraction.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
So like they're not interested in the romantic aspects of a relationship so much as just being friends in a relationship kind of thing.
I guess that makes sense based on the name.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's also demisexual pride, which is sexual attraction only with strong emotional bond. Mm-hmm. Did we talk about that one?
We did talk about that one.
It's a different flag, though.
It is.
This one.
It's the one, actually, the demisexual pride one is the one that I'm used to seeing, actually, on this one.
So it's a black triangle or an arrow kind of pointing from the left to the right, with a white on the top, purple in the middle, and then gray on the bottom, I actually really like that flag. Gender flux, which we talked about, transgender pride, non-binary pride, genderqueer, gender fluid. Did we talk about that one? I think we did.
I think we talked about gender flux and genderqueer.
Okay. Neutris?
I don't know what that is.
Indifference or absence of neutral gender. But this one is white, green, and black. Agender, demigender, bigender, intersex pride, which we talked about. Queer pride, which I actually really like that one too. Fall outside or renounce cultural norms about sexuality and gender. And it's like a black, a light blue, a blue, green, white, orange, or kind of a yellowish orange, pink, and then black again. Omnisexual pride, which is attraction to all genders, but gender matters. BDSM rights, which is the BDSM subculture. Leather pride, which I kind of really like that one. Then there's rubber pride, which is rubber latex fetish. Trigender pride, which I didn't even know was a thing either, but switches between genders depending on environment or mood. Equal human rights. This is the HRC pride flag. I don't know why they called it equal human rights, because it's the human rights campaign flag.
Right.
And then a different drag flag. So the other one was the drag feather pride. Mm-hmm. And this one is just the drag pride. And it's a purplish, kind of like a lavender color vertical stripe. Is that right?
Yes.
And then a white vertical stripe. And then in the middle of that, there's a pink crown. And then a blue vertical stripe. And I think it's probably meant to represent the swapping gender kind of thing that's usually attributed to drag. Mm-hmm. And then demi boy and demi girl pride. And then the thing with the demi boy and demi girl, it says, is a person who identifies with aspects of femininity regardless of sex at birth. And then demi boy is a person who identifies with aspects of masculinity regardless of sex at birth. Interesting. So those are all the pride flags that we're talking about today. There's a lot of them, which I didn't know. Like I said, I didn't know most of these existed. Like, I think I've seen this pride flag and what they stand for motif or picture. And I think we actually have it as one of our pictures on the thing that, like, where we talk about what pride is at Boston Scientific. Mm-hmm. But I didn't, like, I knew, like, the lesbian flag, the gay men's flag, those, but there's a lot of them that are in here that I didn't know.
Mm-hmm. There were several in there that I didn't know either. Abrosexual was a new one for me.
Yeah. There's a lot of them in here that I'm just like, I've never understood. Like, I get that it's a thing. And it does make sense why people are confused about some things, but it's like, it's not for you to understand.
Right.
Just realize that these things are out here. You don't need to understand it to realize that it's there.
Yeah, you don't need to understand it to just let it exist.
No. It's not about you, Vanessa.
It's not about you, Vanessa. Well, what are your plans for the weekend?
I don't really have any right now. Tomorrow, Ryan and I'll probably go somewhere for lunch. And then I did get my stuff I ordered I grabbed some snacks because I leave on Wednesday to go to Indiana for
That's right.
a couple weeks. And then aside from that, I don't really have much planned. Oh, this is from Reddit.
I am cleaning today because I've been shock of the year in a massive depressive funk and haven't cleaned in a hot minute. So I'm cleaning my room today. I'm doing laundry. I'm going to take a shower, and then I'm also planning on going out to Round Rock Pride today for a little bit. And then tomorrow I'm probably just going to vibe, to be honest, because then I have to go back to work on Monday. And then I didn't tell you this, I have a dentist appointment on Tuesday because something's wrong with my teeth.
Something wrong with your teeth? No way.
I know. I never have any issues with my teeth ever. I don't know what we're talking about here. But yeah, I currently am unable to chew.
Nice.
So yeah, I am hurting. So I have to go to the dentist on Tuesday. And I'm terrified to go to the dentist because I have severe dental anxiety related to years of trauma. So wish me luck. Are you looking for something on Reddit for us to wrap her up with?
No, that was where the picture that I sent you came from. That update or a guide to pride flags. That's what that one.
Mm-hmm.
That's where that was from. But it's on r/LGBT.
Love that.
And the person's name is Tinker Gnome.
I love that too.
And it says, I make jewelry and I make a lot of pride pieces, usually out of chainmail. I originally found an older version of this guide from u/Uduzu. And I've been using it for knowing what colors to have on hand so I can create most pride flags. But since its creation, more flags keep coming out, so I updated the guide with all the flags I can actually recreate. I've also had older folks at Pride Fest who really like the guide or updated guide. They're not good at technology and good at technology to find this info themselves. So I tend to have extras on hand to hand out to them. And they really appreciate. They are really appreciative. I will admit I removed one flag that was the original and replaced it with a flag I have the colors of, and I added a simpler lesbian and gay men pride flags. So I have everything needed for them. So okay, that makes more sense. So she created this, or this person. I don't know why I said she. This person created this as this is what they have to offer to sell.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that makes sense. Well, anything else you want to talk about before we wrap things up?
I don't think so. I think we've talked about it all.
All right. Well, thank you for listening to this week's episode of Now About That with James and Sarah. If you like this episode, please give us a like, a comment. Don't forget to follow or subscribe. If you would, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen to this podcast, as this will help get the podcast out to more people and help us grow. Feel free to follow us on social media. Our handle everywhere is at Now About That Pod. So if we don't come up on the search, then we're not on that platform. And if there's something you would like us to discuss on the podcast, feel free to email us at nowaboutthatpod@gmail.com. You can also reach us on our website, www.nowaboutthatproductions.com, or you can call and leave us a voicemail or send us a text message. Our phone number is 765-557-4170. Thanks again for listening, and we hope you have a great week since this will be coming out on Monday. And happy Pride. Enjoy your Pride, everybody.
Happy Pride!
Bye, everybody.
Bye.